The United States House of Representatives has just passed three groundbreaking immigration reform bills in February 2026 that will fundamentally reshape how immigration works in America. After months of intense negotiation and political maneuvering, these bills moved through the House this week with bipartisan support, shocking political observers who expected continued gridlock. The changes these bills bring will affect millions of immigrants, visa holders, green card applicants, and undocumented individuals currently living in the United States. Texas, as the state with the longest border and second largest immigrant population in the nation, will experience these impacts more dramatically than almost anywhere else. Whether you are waiting for a visa approval, applying for a green card, seeking asylum, working on a temporary visa, or living undocumented and worried about your future, what just happened in Washington will directly determine your path forward. The next 6 months will be critical for every immigrant in America. What just passed in the House? Welcome back to your trusted source for breaking immigration news, in-depth policy analysis, and practical guidance for navigating the complex United States immigration system. The mission is to deliver facts without political bias, to explain complicated legislation in plain language, and to give you actionable information that helps you protect your status and achieve your immigration goals. Today, we are analyzing the three immigration bills that just passed the House of Representatives, breaking down exactly what each bill contains, who will be affected, what happens next as these move to the Senate, and most critically, what actions you should take right now to prepare for these changes. This is the most significant immigration legislation to pass the House since the comprehensive reform attempts of 2013, and every detail matters. Bill number 1, Border Security and Enforcement. The first bill that cleared the House is called the Secure Border and Interior Enforcement Act of 2026. This legislation focuses heavily on border security, infrastructure, enforcement expansion, and consequences for illegal entry. The bill authorizes $32 billion over the next 4 years, specifically for physical barriers, technology systems, and personnel along the southern border. The funding breakdown includes $12 billion for wall construction and barrier reinforcement in Texas, Arizona, New Mexico, and California, $8 billion for surveillance technology, including towers, drones, and sensor systems, and $12 billion for hiring and training new enforcement personnel. The personnel expansion is massive. The bill mandates hiring 15,000 new Border Patrol agents over the next 3 years and 8,000 new Immigration and Customs Enforcement officers. Training facilities will be established in Texas, specifically in the El Paso and Rio Grande Valley regions. One of the most significant and controversial changes is the elimination of humanitarian parole for most asylum seekers at the southern border. Instead, asylum seekers will be held in newly constructed processing centers located on the Mexican side of the border or in third countries. Only after initial asylum interviews demonstrate credible fear will applicants be allowed entry into the United States. For people already in removal proceedings, the bill creates expedited docket systems. Immigration courts will be required to complete cases within 6 months for detained individuals and 12 months for non-detained individuals. The bill also dramatically expands the crimes that make immigrants deportable. Previously, only aggravated felonies and crimes of moral turpitude triggered mandatory removal. The new bill adds a category called crimes affecting public safety, which includes DUI convictions, domestic violence misdemeanors, certain drug possession offenses, and repeat traffic violations. Even lawful permanent residents can be placed in removal proceedings for these offenses. Bill number 2, Legal Immigration Reform. The second bill passed by the House is the Legal Immigration Reform and Backlog Reduction Act of 2026. This legislation takes a dramatically different approach from the enforcement-focused first bill. It aims to modernize the legal immigration system, reduce backlogs, and create new pathways for skilled workers and family members. The centerpiece of this bill is the elimination of per-country caps for employment-based green cards. Currently, no more than 7% of employment-based green cards can go to nationals of any single country in a given year. This creates devastating backlogs for applicants from India and China. The new bill eliminates these caps entirely, allowing green cards to be issued based on priority date regardless of country of birth. The bill also increases the overall annual cap on employment-based green cards from 140,000 to 250,000. For family-based immigration, the annual cap for family preference categories increases from 226,000 to 350,000. The bill also creates a new fast-track category for parents of adult U.S. citizens with processing within 12 months. However, the bill eliminates the sibling category, which allows U.S. citizens to sponsor their brothers and sisters. Current applicants will be grandfathered, but no new sibling petitions will be accepted after the bill becomes law. One major innovation is the creation of a startup entrepreneur visa. Foreign nationals who can demonstrate they have founded a business that creates jobs and generates revenue can obtain a special visa that provides work authorization and a direct path to a green card within 3 years. Texas, with its booming technology sector, energy industry, and healthcare system, stands to benefit enormously from the employment-based reforms. Companies in Austin, Dallas, Houston, and San Antonio that struggle to hire and retain foreign talent will have more options. Bill No. 3, Pathway to Legal Status. The third and most politically contentious bill is the Earned Pathway to Legal Status Act of 2026. This bill creates a conditional pathway to legal status for certain undocumented immigrants currently living in the United States. It does not provide immediate citizenship or amnesty, but rather establishes a lengthy process with strict requirements. To be eligible for this program, you must meet several conditions. First, you must have continuously resided in the United States since January 1st, 2020. Second, you must have no felony convictions and no more than 2 misdemeanor convictions. Third, you must demonstrate continuous employment, enrollment in education, or status as a primary caregiver. Fourth, you must pass background checks and biometric screening. Fifth, you must demonstrate basic English language ability and knowledge of U.S. civics. Individuals who meet these requirements can apply for conditional residence status. This is not a green card or citizenship, but a temporary legal status valid for 8 years. After completing 8 years, if you have met all requirements without interruption, you can apply to adjust status to lawful permanent resident. After obtaining your green card, you must wait an additional 5 years before applying for citizenship. This means the total timeline from undocumented status to citizenship is at least 13 years. The bill includes special provisions for dreamers. If you entered before your 16th birthday, have lived in the United States for at least 10 years, and have graduated from a U.S. high school or obtained a GED, you qualify for expedited processing. Dreamers can adjust to permanent residency after just 5 years instead of 8. The fee structure is substantial. The initial application for conditional resident status costs $2,000 per adult and $1,000 per child. After 8 years, the adjustment to permanent residency costs another $12,500 per person. A family of 4 could pay over $15,000 in government fees alone over the 13-year process. Texas has an estimated 1.7 million undocumented immigrants. If this bill becomes law, potentially 800,000 to 1 million could be eligible based on the January 2020 residency requirement. What happens next in the Senate? It is absolutely essential to understand that these 3 bills have only passed the House of Representatives. They now move to the Senate, where the political landscape is very different. The Senate is narrowly divided, and immigration remains one of the most divisive issues in American politics. The bills could pass the Senate largely unchanged, be significantly amended, be combined with other legislation, or fail entirely if they cannot gain the 60 votes needed to overcome a filibuster. Even if the bills pass the Senate, they must be signed by the president to become law, what you should do now. First, if you are undocumented and potentially eligible for the Earned Pathway program, start gathering documentation immediately. Collect every piece of evidence showing your presence in the United States since January 2020. Request letters from landlords, employers, schools, doctors, churches, and anyone else who can verify you were here. Second, if you have been paying taxes using an ITIN, make absolutely certain you file your 2024 and 2025 returns on time. Tax returns are one of the strongest pieces of evidence for proving presence and demonstrating good moral character. Third, avoid any criminal activity, no matter how minor. Even a misdemeanor conviction could jeopardize your eligibility. Fourth, if you are waiting in the employment-based green card backlog, particularly from India or China, monitor the situation closely but maintain your current status and continue with your existing applications. Fifth, If you are a U.S. citizen planning to sponsor a sibling, file an I-130 petition immediately. The bill includes a grandfather clause protecting petitions filed before enactment. Sixth, be extremely vigilant about immigration fraud. Only work with licensed attorneys or DOJ accredited representatives. Never pay cash without receipts and never let anyone keep your original documents. The passage of these three immigration bills through the House represents a historic moment. For the first time in over a decade, comprehensive immigration legislation addressing enforcement, legal immigration, and undocumented populations has moved forward with bipartisan support. For immigrants throughout Texas and across the United States, these bills represent hope, anxiety, opportunity, and risk all at once. The enforcement provisions create new dangers for undocumented immigrants. The legal immigration reforms offer relief to hundreds of thousands stuck in backlogs. The earned legalization pathway provides a chance for millions to emerge from the shadows, though the requirements are steep and the road is long. Immigration law is complicated. The political process is unpredictable, and reliable information is hard to find. If this information helped you understand the three immigration bills that just passed the House and what they could mean for your future, please share this with family, friends, and anyone in your community who needs this information. Your future matters, your family matters, your American dream matters. Stay informed, stay prepared, and never stop fighting for your place in this country.